Welcome everyone to Widows Wednesday. I just heard this meeting's being recorded. I've never heard that before. So today, my friends, I have a very special guest with me. Yes, I do. And this is Megan Taylor. Okay. I didn't say Megan LaRue. I almost did. No, Megan Taylor. This is our Brucey's daughter.
Hi, Megan. Hi. Hi, Grammy.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to have her here today, you guys. What God does, okay? You guys know, right, how it is when you have family dynamics. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And all in between, you know, everybody's trying to have their voice heard, you know? And me and Megan went through a few things, just like other people in our family. You've seen like almost everybody in the family on my show. Megan, you're in the game now.
Hey.
Ta-da! So, Megan, why don't you just tell us a little bit about you, what you do, if you're married, you have children, all, you know, a few little things about Megan. Let our girls hear.
Okay. Yeah. Well, as she said, I'm Megan Taylor. I am from Indiana, and I still live in Indiana, where my dad moved from before he came here. But I live in Covington, Indiana. It's a tiny little town. Tiny, like stoplight.
No joke.
It's tiny.
It's tiny. There's not really anything major. Well, actually, you're getting a brand new major.
But we're getting a McDonald's. So.
Woo! Big leagues.
But I moved up there when I married my husband, and we got married 2-3 months after you and Dad.
Yeah,
the same year. So it's coming up on 4 years. Yeah. So weird. Oh, so we always will have the same anniversary date or that year. Yeah, I can always tell what your anniversary number will be.
We can't forget.
Yeah. But I'm married and have a little girl named Jade, and we are up visiting.
Yeah. And your hubby's Ryan.
And my hubby's Ryan.
Ryan.
He's wonderful.
Yes. Ryan.
Yes.
He's great. And so, you know, now Bruce's daughter, okay, which means, girls, as you know, Diane, Bruce's wife, his first wife, this was your mom.
Yes, it was.
Oh my gosh, what can we say about your mom?
She was a wonderful, God-fearing, loyal, nurturer is what I would like to say about her, with spunk.
You know, I probably would have really liked Diane.
you honestly would have gotten along.
We're spunky. I'm spunky, she's spunky, I'm down with it. Okay. Yeah, so, you know, it's nice to be able to say something wonderful about your mom. Mm-hmm. You know, some women don't have that experience, right, you know, with their moms. But no, that's wonderful. And, you know, okay. Here we go.
Yeah, this is the straight.
Here we go. The straight talk.
Get into it.
Here we go. How difficult was it for you? Obviously, mom passed. Okay, yeah. Brain cancer. Her mom died of brain cancer, same as my Daryl. If you don't know, and if you are new to Widows Wednesday, I just encourage you to maybe start at the beginning. You know, look back at video 1 and just kind of trek along with the story. I would just encourage you to do that. It helps because when you're jumping in on 87, you know,
yeah,
what's all this about?
Right.
You know?
And there's quite the story there.
There's quite the story there. So now your mom passes away, okay? And of course, as we know, girls, right? Everything in your life gets flipped upside down when
100%.
When mom or dad pass, okay. So now there's how many years pass? Well, actually, let me back up. We were talking about how you were noticing after a certain amount of time, maybe a couple of years, whatever it was, that your dad started to maybe look into dating.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that?
No,
Let's go
and
there.
I mean, I'll be honest, and I've told him this, or he knew at the time. I was not okay. I felt like I had lost my mom, and for me, my mom and my dad had been together. I mean, we were a unit. We were a family unit, and
you have a brother.
I have a brother who is also in that unit.
Right.
But the entire time I knew my dad, he loved my mom. And so when she passed away, I felt like when he started looking for someone else, I just felt very insecure. You know what I mean? Like,
did you feel, now I've heard this before, like some people say, did you feel like mom was being replaced? Or he was trying to replace something?
No, I don't think so. It's just, because I know that he grieved, and he's still, just like you and him both still grieve. That's a never ending. It never ends. Yeah. But
it's very different now.
Yes.
I mean, we girls, look, we love our husbands, okay? He loves his wife. If you're the man, of course you're gonna love your wife forever. It's in you. That person is part of you. It's not wrong to feel these things. This God gave us emotions. What are we supposed to do with them?
Yeah.
Just shove them and never talk about it, never feel anything? No, girls, listen. Say it, okay? Say it, get it out. Because I find, for me anyway, if I'm about something or whatever, if I stuff it, it's gonna come out somewhere, and I'm gonna have a meltdown. Yeah. So, which isn't a good idea. I'm more of let's just put on the table. What's wrong? What's happening? This is how I maybe process things. I don't know everybody's like that, but that's sort of like me.
Yeah.
But so dad's dating, and
I was just insecure. Yeah. My brother was old enough at the time that mom passed. He had a family. He had his own children. So he had gone out, and he had this, obviously we're still family, but he had this family of his own.
Right.
So me, I was 24 when mom got sick and passed. So I had just gotten, I had just graduated college and then gone out into the real world. And then all of a sudden I'm having to come back home. I quit my job when mom was sick because dad couldn't. We needed health insurance. And so I took care of my mom 24/7 until she passed away. So I'm back at the house. So being back at your parents' house, you go back into that mode of.
I don't think I could ever be back.
Now, if you asked me to go back, I could not. But at 24, it was pretty cool. I mean, not the situation, but rent-free, groceries paid for, But when he started dating, the blunt, honest truth, I can't say anymore, that I thought I'm losing my other parent too. Like, I lost my mom, and now I'm going to lose my dad.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's stirring in you. And now, so now you have those feelings, and your dad's not finding his love, really, right? He went through stuff, and I'm sure you would say, hey, Dad, no, yes, no.
Yeah.
How did he respond to that?
He was very defensive.
Yeah.
He didn't he wanted me so badly to like these people and be involved with these new friends he was making, because that's what they were. He would call them friends. And, and I just wasn't there emotionally. I was still so at a point, I feel like I was a kid. In my heart, I feel like since I hadn't gone out and I wasn't a wife yet, I wasn't a mom yet, I feel like I was still kind of stuck in that child role.
You were in this really odd spot.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not quite out there, and yet
But then I
still
came
with mom
home,
and
so
dad,
it was
or
like,
still with daddy.
yeah.
and-
So it was like almost like dad and I against the world at that point because Ben was out with his family. So when dad starts looking outwards, I was like,
What's gonna happen to me?
yeah, inside it was just like a tornado. Like,
Wow.
holy cow, like, obvious.
Okay.
Yeah, I just felt alone.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You know what, you guys, and as parents, now I know some of you ladies, you have adult children. When your husband died, you have adult children, and some of them might be going through the exact same things Meg's talking about, you know, all these feelings, all this uncertainty, okay? But what I want you to understand is that God's not oblivious to any of this stuff, okay? He's well aware of your feelings and cares about them. And he's well aware of your dad's feelings and cares about them.
Right.
Hey, you know, God, I'm not God. How in the world do you sort all this out? It's mind-boggling,
Yeah.
right? So, okay, fast forward. Now,
Mm-hmm.
those other relationships didn't work. That's right, they didn't work. Okay, so now, all of a sudden, wait a second.
Yeah.
Dad, who are you talking to?
Right. And it, you know, yeah, and it was, you guys met after my husband, like just after my husband and I started talking. We started talking in December.
So we started talking, we first spoke April 7th, 20.
Right after I got engaged. So it was a week after I got engaged because we got,
2017.
yeah. So April,
It was a week after you got engaged.
I got engaged, it was like 10 days. So I got 12 days.
Oh,
I got engaged on April 15th. And then, yeah, it was Easter weekend that year. And then you guys started talking like, so, yeah.
it was before because it was April 7th. That was
April 7th. Okay, so a week before, yeah. So I got engaged. And so I will tell you that looking back, I know that was a God wink because my dad had made me a promise because I was so fearful of being alone and not knowing my place kind of in the world. And he made a promise to me that he wouldn't leave me alone. He wouldn't go anywhere that I couldn't go alone.
Right.
And so it just so happens that I got engaged a week after you guys met, which is kind of like a God
That's
wink.
a God. Yeah. God has perfect timing.
Yeah.
Perfect time. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't even really connect that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, woo, you're on fast forward of wedding track.
Yeah, and we our relationship moved super fast too. We knew, and it was like boom, boom,
You
boom,
just
boom.
know that you know.
Yeah, and we planned our wedding for November. So we were like not wasting any time planning.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you guys meet and you plan your wedding for even sooner. Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't help it. He's adorable. And we laugh because, you know, now, like I said, my gosh, babe, like we think back and honestly, this is what God does. This is how bizarre it is. You think, you know, that fluttering you get when you meet Ryan. Oh, Ryan. You know, you're all about Ryan and how much you love it and you can't stand it, blah, blah. Well, for us, you know, we're in a different stage of our life. And yet, those feelings are still there.
Yeah.
You feel like this teenager. You feel like a kid. It's like
I remember him talking on the phone with you, like
that's what you do in your
like and I was like, oh my gosh, Dad, like
how much could you talk about?
Yeah, this person lives across the country. What are you thinking?
Yeah, that's no joke. Like we're 1,000 miles apart. 1,000 miles apart. How in the world? What? And so I'm sure now. I don't know what Ben was thinking during all that.
He was like, Ben was in a place where he was like, yeah, Dad, like, good for you. Yeah, he was, he's never really had taken, he has more of that man perspective, and he was in a different place in his life where he could see from an outward perspective.
Right.
Rather than feeling like you were like in it, like I was still a child, you know, only seeing him as my dad, not as a man of God.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes. And so now, fast forward a little bit more. Yeah. Now we we hadn't met. We were talking on, what do you call, Marco Polo all the time. And we were being introduced to people throughout. I don't think I ever saw you on Marco Polo.
No, I don't. That's. I don't.
Doing what? Hey, I'm talking to that chick. Okay, so then, so now we fast forward, and your dad comes here.
Yeah.
How were you about that?
Well, I thought he was cuckoo. Because no offense, but I'm like, Dad, you need to make sure you meet in a public place, like
the airport.
I thought you were being catfished. You know, because you had so much catfish, like I thought he was being tricked, like you were someone else.
Oh.
You know, because you had this.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
catfish.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's a catfish
one.
No, like catfish is when you like you act like you're someone else online, and then like you fall in love or whatever, and then you find out it's someone.
You know what's sad? That actually happens
a lot.
I'm sorry, but that does happen.
No, and on dating apps,
I don't blame you.
Yeah, so I'm like, this person has like the exact same story as you, but like opposite. And I'm like, convenient. Like, so I'm thinking.
I never even thought of that.
Yeah, so I'm thinking you're catfishing him, and he like is gonna get all his money taken away or something. Like, I'm thinking So I was busy planning my own wedding, so I was like, Dad, you just need to make good choices. I made him turn his location thing on his phone, so I knew where he was at all times. But
well, then you saw that he was at St. Luke's Hospital, and you're probably like, wow, my dad's awesome.
Yeah. So then,
it's me.
He calls me and he's like, everything's okay, but
If you see that I'm at the hospital.
Right, yeah.
Sue passed out and fell down the stairs, or whatever. Not fall down. I almost did. I almost fell down the stairs.
That's crazy.
I passed out, hit my head on that thing. Whatever. My potassium was low. Whatever. So now, so everybody here is getting to meet him, and we're going through what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
My family is like, what the heck? Everybody was like, oh, we're going to the airport with you, blah, 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 blah. You don't know who this guy is. He's probably tricking you. The same thing you're saying, I'm hearing. And I'm like, listen, I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the man. I hear his testimony. You can check it out yourself. You know, whatever. It's hard to convince the other side that they're not crazy. So now, here we go. I'm going to your side, and we were, connecting with everybody over there. And so I know that we decided to get married in September because, well, we're older, and so like we're, first time around or whatever, like we know this is 30-something years, 60 years of marriage between us. We know what it is.
Yeah.
So we're like, gosh, we just, and how the calendar was working and everything, we just said, all right, okay, let's do it. So you weren't happy about that?
Well, okay. I'm going to look like such a bad person.
You're not, honey. This is real stuff, real feelings.
Well,
I get it.
I didn't want him to get married.
Period?
Before
you.
Before me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had like my bachelorette party scheduled that weekend. And so, remember that whole thing?
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, Dad, they have scheduled all this stuff. My friends have scheduled all this stuff. And I was just shocked at how quickly it was moving. And I'm like, so you have to get married before I do? It's like, mine's scheduled, like it's on the date. Like you have to, so does that mean you're going to move away before my wedding? Or, because Mom's already not there to help me plan my wedding.
Right.
So I'm like, Dad, who was going to help me? Like it was just this whole ordeal. And again, it was coming from a perspective of like a little girl that like, but we worked that out, the dates and everything.
We worked it all out, and you came.
You
were like his best man.
Because I said, our family, someone from our family is going to be there.
Yeah.
I said, someone's going to stand on your side, and I like agreed to this. Yeah. So I flew from my bachelorette party that next day. Remember, I rented a car, drove 3 hours, got in an airplane, drove to here. Yeah, and then to be here for the wedding.
You flew here into Providence, and then Uber down or something.
Yeah, yeah.
It was crazy. It was all crazy. But she did such a good job because she helped me with my makeup, and, which I needed.
No.
But but you know, okay, so here we are now. We're married. You're married. We go to your wedding.
Yeah.
We're at your wedding, and here we are. You know.
Yeah.
We're all.
But it's so new.
It's all new.
Yeah.
Right. It's all new, and it's all strange. Who is that girl staying with my dad? You know what I mean?
And you know, at your wedding, you always picture.
Your mom.
It's so there's
of course
there's a little bit of pain there, just my mom not being there. You know what I mean? Not even that it has like it's not like directed at you. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And the pain was just going to be there whether he was married to someone else or not.
Even if I wasn't there and your dad was there all by himself.
Right,
okay,
which honestly would have caused me more pain.
Which would have shown here he is alone at my wedding.
Right.
Where's my mom? Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
You know what it is?
Right.
More agony added on.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah, definitely.
But we've had our ups and downs.
We've had our ups and downs. Okay.
We had a lot of downs at the beginning, mainly because of me.
We had a few downs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, and I know for me, you guys, I tried very hard to, like, it is hard. No matter, look, when you're blending families, okay, and you're trying to understand each other and get to know each other, and you live 1,000 miles apart, there's going to be friction. There's going to be things that happen.
Especially when he moved here, right?
Added friction.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, because
we lived in Indiana still.
Right.
Yeah.
So even if that was the case, so you're three hours north.
Yeah. So I moved 3 hours north from where our hometown.
And Ben it was Evansville. So
Ben's still in our hometown.
He at the time.
He was in Santa Claus or somewhere.
Maybe a half hour.
Yeah, something
out of it. Whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there was difference. So and your aunts were there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's so funny? I love it. I say aunts. Aunts.
Ants?
That's I'm the Midwest.
Okay, ants are bugs.
I'm from the Midwest. Yeah. So my aunts were there.
Your ants are bugs.
No.
Aunts.
All of my aunties.
Aunts were there.
So all of my aunts and uncles. How do you say uncles?
Uncle.
See, that's very
What?
aunts and uncles.
Ants. We can go on and on about aunts and uncles. Okay.
But yeah, so all of my family that I've grown up with, family friends, were in Indiana.
And so now you're noticing and finding it, and reality-wise, it's fractioning.
Yeah.
This is fraction over here, fraction over here. Things are changing.
And keep in mind that, like, I moved to a brand new, very small town. None of my friends are there. None of my other family is there. Like,
and the added bonus,
I got pregnant 3 weeks after literally her due date was 9 months to the day of our wedding.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that was shocking too.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Honeymoon baby for sure. Ryan was like, no, you're not. No, you're not. And I was like, I think I am.
How's it possible?
Yeah. So a lot of changes were going on.
And I think that was part of maybe some of the dynamics.
Absolutely.
Because, everything was changing.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And, it's really hard to talk about. And, if we were closer, we would have had it, I think maybe it would have been easier.
Yeah, because it's easier now. Anytime we see each other, I feel like every time we see each other, it gets easier and easier.
Yeah, it's easier and easier.
And as I've developed as like a wife and a mom, I've told you this over and over again.
Yeah.
And I've apologized to you on numerous occasions. And it makes it sound like I was like some wicked stepchild. And I don't feel like I was like wicked. I was just very defensive, and I had a
standoffish,
a huge wall because
I had my little hammer, I was chipping at it.
Yeah, and I just no thank you. Like because I was just the similarities between our families are kind of bizarre.
But there's no cats or fishes involved in this at all. None.
No.
The similarities are there.
It's
There's
nuts.
no doubt.
Like, your children are the same ages, right, as me and Ben.
Okay, your birthday, which is Valentine's
Yeah.
Day, is my niece Lily's birthday, Valentine's Day.
But Steph, how old's Steph?
Steffi, well, she was born September 15th of 86.
And I was born in
She's
88.
34.
So I'm 33.
33.
And then Ben is,
Get this, Ben is January 16th. My sister, January 16th.
yeah. But Kev, how old is Rick?
Ricky's 37.
So Ben is 40. So just like very similar, like
Around the same
ages, boy
yeah.
and girl,
Boy and
older,
girl.
younger.
Yep.
Steph has 2 girls,
Yep.
baby girls. One that she was pregnant with when you guys got married,
Right. Rebecca.
and I got pregnant right after that.
Right. So we had
So
2 pregnancies going
it
on.
was like, so Dad moved up here, moved in, and so it was so easy to like let the enemy be like, you're being replaced, or your dad has moved, like he's just there and you're here. You know what I mean?
You and every
Oh my gosh.
negative thing. You know, and this is, listen, if you're going through this, okay, this is what the enemy loves to do. He loves to put just that little subtle hint, that little thing in your mind. And then if you're having a down day or whatever, that little thing becomes extremely large,
Yes.
no matter what's going on.
Yeah.
And you roll it and roll it and roll it and roll it until it's so big. And now you're like, oh, what am I going to do with this? And you're just mad and you're angry about this
Yeah.
or that. And,
And
God
I
help
stayed
anybody
in that
your
place
way.
for a while. I think both of us were just like, okay, truce, like, because you lived here, I lived there, so there really wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys were just used to being married too.
Yeah. And you know something? Now you recently,
Mhm.
read me something.
Mhm.
And when you read it, it really helped you to realize how much you've grown as a person.
Yeah.
And,
It was a text message I sent.
it was, would you like to share anything about that?
Yeah. I'll like vague book here a little bit. Yeah. But the text was to a family member, and it was about my dad. And I just had talked about how wonderful of a father he was, and I was almost defending him. But I said, Dad was a man who showed up every game, every musical, oh my gosh, like I could not. I was Daddy's little girl, like and he'll tell you this, like our relationship was
Stephanie and her dad.
Yeah. So special.
Yeah.
And in this text message, like I said things, I typed things that like I think in my head I just like hadn't like put it out there yet. But I said he is in his 60s, like, let him enjoy his life. He is deserving. He's a godly man. He's gone through so much grief, and he has served the Lord with everything he had, even through that pain. And with that pain, turned it into a service to others. And I said, he deserves, let him be happy, let him be. And I said, the only thing he's guilty of is giving us maybe too much and trying to compensate for when Mom passed away.
Right.
And so after reading that, how could I like harbor any negative feelings like towards him or his new life? Like,
yeah.
And
I love thinking that, and it's like you mentioned the replacement.
Yeah.
We talk about it, but I love thinking about, it's not really, when you have a baby, right?
Yeah.
You love that baby so much you can't even believe how much you love this baby.
Right.
You can't even fathom this baby until the next baby comes. And you're like, how could I possibly love another baby? I'm never going to love a baby like I love this baby. There's just no way. This is the beauty of God. Love goes, it expands. it pulls in, it
Right.
gathers, love pulls in. And, of course you love your second baby. That's crazy. You love that baby so much. And your heart just can't handle. Now I love these two babies. And, it's like that with, I like to think of it like that with family. Like we've joined families. Well, I love your family.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want your family to love me.
And I love your
to my
family. Yeah.
family.
Yeah. Like today we went to the park. How fun was that? Like
That was,
with me and Steph,
I was
her
in a
daughter.
swing, might I add. And Megan was pushing me.
But like my daughter, Steph, her
Yeah.
youngest daughter, you and my dad.
Yeah.
And it was like a beautiful afternoon.
Yeah,
We
I
went,
froze. It was freezing. It was right by the water.
it was not that cold. I'm
It
from
was
the
ice.
Midwest and it was not
I had a
that cold.
blanket.
I could have had shorts on.
But so this is what I mean. Like, okay, so look at it. If this is you, if Megan is speaking to you, okay, try to imagine it as if, it's not the end of your family, honey. It's not. It's you're expanding your family. That's all. If this is the key word, if you allow it, you can dig your heels in and say, no, I ain't gonna allow it. I'm not going to let this person in. I'm not going to let that person in. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do you. Dig your heels in and be that. But guess what? There's no joy there. There's no joy there.
And
God
me
wants you to
loving you
share.
doesn't mean that I didn't love my mom.
Oh gosh. No.
And that's something I
I
had
love your
to,
mom. I never met her.
that's something I
You
really
know?
had to, and it doesn't mean that I'm not grieving her to let you in. And that was like a huge revelation for me. Like, she will always be my mom. Yeah.
And she loved the Lord. You're going to see her again.
Right.
This is another blessing
Right.
from God's word.
And my mom would never, ever, I see how happy you make my dad, and that is ultimately what I desire for him. That's what God wants for us. He wants his children to be joyful and to serve him. And
that reminds me of the scripture. I jotted one down and I said, God, if you want me to say it, I'll say it. Colossians 3:14, girls. Beyond all those things, I'm speaking of prayer, put on love, which is the perfect bond of unity. Okay? Put on love. That is an act of your will to put on something. You have to attempt to do this. This is an act of your will. Put on love. Not hate, not jealousy, don't put those things on. They only rot you from the inside out. Okay? God said, put on love and watch what I do with it. I will in, what does that say? Isaiah, what does that say?
Isaiah 61:3, a joyous blessing instead of mourning.
Joyous blessing instead of, who doesn't want that? I would much prefer the joyous blessing. We've done the mourning.
Absolutely.
Right? Have our families not suffered enough?
Oh my gosh.
So it's like no more suffering, no more pain on each other. Love each other. This is what God says. Put on love. Maybe we should go with that.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's super cute. Catchy. I like it.
Is there anything you'd like to say at your final end here? We're going to end our Widows Wednesday.
I just want to say that I'm thankful for you, and you are a blessing in my life.
I didn't want you to say that. Thank
I
you.
am.
Oh,
Yeah. And I
you
love
too.
what you do. And my prayer is that this reaches people who God are pushing to hear it.
Yeah. Who need healing.
Absolutely.
God's healing you.
Absolutely.
He's healing me.
Absolutely.
He's healing your dad. Our families are mending, and this is truly what God wants,
Yeah.
Watch out, world. Here we come. Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys. So you know what, girls? Join me next time on Widows Wednesday. You have a blessed night, day, whatever. Bye-bye.